Hey guys, I hope this video series is helpful for you and you're enjoying the content. I'd ask that you leave a like and a subscribe. The reason that people on YouTube ask for this is because it fits into YouTube's algorithm. The more attention it gets, the easier it shows up for other people looking for stuff. So I'm not making any money off of this. So a like and a subscribe is an easy way for you to share the content and help other leatherworkers find the information a little more easily. So I'd appreciate it if you did. Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Just search Rainier Leather Company. You see some of the other stuff that I'm working on, and it gives you an opportunity to directly reach out to me if you have any questions or any follow-up on any of these videos. So without further ado, let's get into saddle stitching part 2. If you've been following along with this series and you've accumulated some tools and equipment, then you will already recognize this. I have my granite and my rubber mat. So remember, anytime we're using a tool, a sharp tool, we want to do it on the mat, otherwise we're going to immediately blunt our tool. So I have here a piece of leather glued up. So this is about 8 ounces, probably, something like that. I've got a tool somewhere. Let's take a look. Wow, that was way off. It was 12 ounces. Ha, it was way off. Anyway, 12 ounces of leather, we can do this with our pricking irons. We got our stitch groover. I want to talk real quick about order of operations for doing this. You should be consistent and make your process repeatable. So for me, it's always glue up first. Then it'll be either sanding or getting some straight edge. What I've done here, because I'm not worried about losing size, I just put a straight edge on and I cut it off so I have a nice flush edge. Then we want to make our groove. I'm going to make a few because we're going to test some different things. It's probably good there. And then let's double that. I think there's good. Okay, so we've got 3 grooves. This will give us a little bit to work with. Excuse me. Now let's start with these 7 stitches per inch. When you're doing this, I'm probably going to have to move off screen to hammer so I don't hit my camera. If you just kind of drop it in and line it up, you'll tend to walk a little bit. So I'll put it on the very edge and then rock it up. Now, if you're right-handed, get good with your left hand in securing tools. What can mess you up is if you start right-handed, like, okay, cool, I'm right-handed, this is more comfortable, I line it up, and then I got to do this little shift. You could wiggle this tool this way, and then you ruin the straight line. So, anyway, on the edge, oh my goodness, all over the place, trying to do it around this camera. So you start on the edge right here, roll it up, and I'm going to have to move off screen a little bit to get my maul. This needs to be as vertical as possible. Now, as you're getting used to it, you can check. Did I go through? Did I not go through? Did I go through? Kinda. So let's even that out a little bit because these are tapered. So there we go. That's all you need. There are tools you can get to help you pull it out, but what I do is go this way. Don't rock back and forth this way. You're going to widen those holes and just work it right out of there. So we've got our first set of holes. Now to do the next line, you could go to this last hole. I don't like to do that. I like to go back 2, and that just helps line me up. Now this front end is still going to wiggle around, so you got to be thoughtful, but this will help straighten out this line. Sorry, getting the camera a little bit there. Okay. Almost through. Through. Now you don't need to go way through, you just a little bit. Remember to press and rock. Comes right out. Now we're going to switch to the 2-tine. This one, obviously, you can only go back one. Now, you have a lot less material to go through. You can almost just press. Well, not almost. You can press straight through. So if you're going to hit it with the maul, don't go nuts. Off screen, I'll finish these out. You can see it's a little bit wavy because I'm trying to do it through the camera, and that's kind of hard. But you can see how easy you can get off there. So let's go to these 3mm ones. Same thing, we're going to line it up. Rock it up. Get out of the way here. Not quite through. You can always use a heavier maul as well if you want to. So we're through here. Rock it. You can see what a different look that's going to give us. Now on this third line, I'll go back through here before we start stitching. I'll finish these out. I want to show you this tool, right? So if you've got a curve, this is going to work a lot better if you put the cutting insert into your stitch groover. That will recess and take out some material, and then this will kind of drop in the track and follow. But I'll try it here. So no promises. Yeah, that wasn't very pretty, but you get the point. So now we have a space that we can go back through with our stitch awl, and we can punch through each one of these holes as we go. I'm going to finish this up here in a minute. Let's talk about how do we thread these needles. You can different size needles. Because I typically do 7 stitches per inch, I'm using small holes. I use small needles. They're kind of sharp, so it's not a bad idea to have a band-aid nearby. You are going to get yourself from time to time. Eventually they'll bend, like these are starting to get pretty bent. The eyes will sort of pinch shut, so you want to have extra on hand. These are just ones that I had sitting here that I could find. So with your thread, if you're having trouble getting it through the eye of the needle, I'd recommend that you cut it at like a 45. And now you can kind of feed it a little better. So let's see if I can do this in front of the camera. I'm gonna get a bit of a length here first. Cut that off. Okay. So you've got your end. I hope this focuses. Let's cut at that 45. You want it to be kind of flat. Now when you pick up your needle, just make sure the eye looks good, because those will compress and then it's going to be much harder to get through. So I take the thread in my left hand and I pinch it, and then I roll my fingertips back so just the tip is exposed. And then I open my fingers. There we go. That looks easy. It takes practice. Okay, 2 things to consider here. If we have to do a long run, do not lock this off, because you'll need to pull a lot of it through and have it hanging back here, so as the thread shortens as you're sewing along, you can just feed it. You can feed more to the needle. If you have a smaller run and you think you can control the entire length of your thread, then this is what you'll want to do. So you got your needle, you got your thread, you've got a little bit of a tail. Pinch up here and then punch through that thread. Hard to do with the camera. So what you're looking for is kind of right in the middle, right? You want thread on either side. You don't want to have just 1 or 2 strands. Slide that down to the eye, pick up the slack out of here, and lock it over. So all you do is pop it down. Now what I like to do a lot of the time is I'll double up on this. So feed this back out and bring this up. This will be really strong. and you're really not going to have any issues if you do this. So I've got one through here already. I'm just going to do it again. If you're right up at the end like I am, there's a chance that it'll fray a little bit, but it's not that big a deal. Slide it all down, pull it, and then just yank. And now you've locked that thread in. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to do this with the other side, and then we'll flip around and we'll actually start getting to the stitching.